It's coming down pretty hard here at Lookout Pass, but this is nothing. 30 high school students, 90 elementary school students, and about 15 middle schoolers went home sick with this bug. And now, even though today is a school day, you can see there's not a student in sight. Well, tonight the interstate is open, traffic is flowing smoothly, but yesterday it was a totally different story. Now, put it this way, if the interstate were an artery, the traffic was so blocked up, Idaho would have had a heart attack. Eli says that Anthony did not have an avalanche beacon on him, even though one of their friends was actually in an avalanche in that exact same spot about 2 weeks ago, and he broke his leg. He said that there was nothing that could have kept Anthony off of that mountain, not even an avalanche. They come up to a car, they look for the flashing red light of a car alarm. If they don't see it, they grab the handle and try the door. If it's open, they get in, grab what they can, regardless of value, and then get out as soon as possible. The Fed cut 2 key interest rates by 0.75%. Now, that's the biggest emergency cut we've had since 1984. But what does that mean for you here in Montana? According to a local expert we talked to, not much. When he came to a drawer, he opened it and hit the jackpot. Inside was a huge wad of cash. Now, everyone that I've seen here tonight seems to be having a good time, except that is for this woman. She seems to be having a bad night tonight. Now, the best part about this haunted house is that it's free. Christmas Eve started off innocently enough. I anchored Montana today and then headed up to Whitefish to spend the holiday with some friends. Around 3 o'clock, we all decided to go up and catch a couple end-of-the-day runs at Big Mountain. I'm a pretty good skier, so I thought that I could handle myself anywhere on the mountain, but I soon realized that I was wrong. We started skiing and my friends veered off the Gray Wolf Run, under the rope and into the trees. I followed. A few minutes later, I lost sight of the group and decided to follow the tracks down the mountain, hoping to meet up with them. Within 15 minutes, I was lost and alone. Little did I know I was veering farther and farther off course and into a deep powder-filled gully. Around 3:45, I was stuck in chest-deep powder. I couldn't move. I tried taking off my skis, but I sunk. I tried to call for help on my cell phone, but I had no service. I was freezing cold, all alone, and in the dark, and I was terrified. I curled up into a ball and dug a space in a tree well and did the only thing that I could think of. I started screaming for help. I watched the minutes turn into hours. I could hear people calling for me in the distance, but I didn't think that they could hear me. Every time a snowmobile came closer, I would stand and scream and shine the light of my cell phone, but time after time, the sound of the motor grew faint again. It's tough to describe what's going through your head at a time like that. It's kind of a mix of fear and helplessness. It was so much stress it made me sick. The thought of dying on a mountain on Christmas Eve was unbearable, but increasingly more realistic. Just after 8:30, help arrived. Ski patroller Dave Stevens skied to my rescue. I burst into tears, overcome with relief, but it would still be over 5 hours until I was out of the snow and off of the mountain. While we were waiting, one ski patrolman asked me what I was getting for Christmas. I turned and looked up at him and said, "This, I'm getting rescued." I can't say enough how grateful I am to the men and women who were out there looking for me on Christmas Eve. If you're ever unfortunate enough to get lost at Big Mountain, I can honestly say you'll have the best of the best out there looking for you, and they won't give up. Reporting in Missoula, Casey Joyce for the News Channel. Billy Poole skied fast, flipped into the air, and defied gravity.
We thought, well, someday he's going to settle down on his just skiing regular and get into the real world.
But for Billy, that was the real world, risks and all. He grew up in Missoula and got his first taste of powder up on Marshall Mountain. Even as a child, he was a thrill seeker.
I was always following Billy. He may have been my younger brother, but when it came to skiing, I was always one step behind him.
All or nothing, that was his motto, both on and off the slopes. Over the past few years, Billy achieved international recognition, picking up sponsorships and movie deals along the way. His exploits even made their way onto the internet. His sister Penny says she was proud of her brother, but admits some of his skiing was tough to watch.
I can't do it because I knew him. It's completely different when you know the person in that. You're like, oh my God, get out of it. I can't watch.
Billy took risks, but told his family he was meticulously careful. He called home every day to check in, but on Tuesday it wasn't Billy on the phone. It was a doctor in Utah.
My mom just started screaming and crying, and I knew something wasn't right.
Billy was filming a skiing movie when witnesses say he jumped off a cliff and landed wrong, cartwheeling down the mountain. His friends tried to save him, but he died later at a local hospital. His family is still reeling from the news. They hope Billy will be remembered both for his passion for skiing and for life.
He went out doing what he loved doing. He loved to ski. I don't know of anything he liked any better than skiing.
Tuesday night, 5-year-old Abby Baldwin woke up with a stomach ache.
I only threw up 4 times, and I was pretty sick.
So on Wednesday, her mother, Anna, who is also a teacher at Arley High School, decided to keep Abby home.
I've never seen anything that spread this fast before.
And the Baldwins weren't alone. On Wednesday, 30 high school students, 90 elementary school students, and about 15 middle schoolers went home sick with this bug. And now, even though today is a school day, you can see there's not a student in sight. That's because Arley's school superintendent John J. Miller canceled classes and all school events for the entire district until after Martin Luther King Day on Monday.
I felt it was probably best to maybe call off school, send kids home, because a lot of siblings are getting sick.
That's something Dan Nelson knows all too well.
I've got 7 kids and they all got sick, and I've got 4 sick at home right now. And once it gets going, there's no stopping it.
But he's not home fixing chicken noodle soup. Nelson spent the day scrubbing down the schools, hoping to stomp out the stomach bug.
We started at 6 and we scrubbed everything down, spray foamed everything, disinfected the entire building.
So students like Abby Baldwin can head back to school on Tuesday happy, healthy, and feeling fine.